First of all, I'm a touring musician. That's what I do for a living. And I was in a marriage, and we were having issues, and we decided to part ways, which leads me to why I hired Scott to begin with, to help me with our divorce proceedings. Whenever my divorce was, the proceedings were taking place, or when the divorce started, we had two small children, so it was more than just a cut and dry kind of everybody go their separate ways type of divorce. There were kids involved. We had cars, several things. Like I mentioned before, I'm a professional musician, so I had music royalties and, all kinds of stuff to decipher. But Scott and his whole team were very, very professional and very on top of it. I was kind of I didn't really know who to turn to, because I knew it wasn't just going to be like a run of the mill, everybody has normal jobs type of divorce. I knew there was going to be some, unique circumstances in my situation. So thankfully, as fate would have it, it led me to Scott and his team, and they did an amazing job. When I started looking for an attorney for my divorce proceedings, I actually am originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and I was living in near Angleton, Tennessee, where Scott Brown's office is located. So I kind of just asked around, and luckily that was a very small town of West Columbia, Texas. So I kind of asked who's the best, and everybody kept coming back with Scott Brown. So I just looked him up, made an appointment, went in. I actually had my first consult with one of his associates. I can't remember exactly who it was, because it's been a minute. This was back in 2012. And I explained my situation to her and told her about my band. And then she was like, you know what, let me go run this by Scott. I think he's going to, I got some questions for him. And then whenever he heard, the guy's in a band, blah, 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 he said, send him to my office. So Scott personally took it over at that point, which was pretty awesome. What really stood out about the Scott Brown and Associates team was, like I had mentioned before, I was doing a lot of research by just asking people around town and stuff. And unanimously, it came back, you need Scott Brown. You need Scott Brown. So I went with the best. I was most satisfied with the outcome because obviously I think in any, especially divorce, neither party could ever really get 100% of what they're going for. But we've got the majority of everything that I wanted the outcome to be, it was. And more importantly, the most important things I wanted out of, he was successful with getting me those things. So all around win for everybody. I would highly recommend Scott Brown and Associates to anyone in any circumstances regarding family law, because not only the success rate he had with my case and the word of mouth that I got from other folks, but I keep track of him because we actually became really good friends, during the whole thing. We still stay in constant communication. But the cases even after and before speak for itself. I mean, his track record is there. If you want the best, that's your man, Scott Brown and Associates. For me, recommending Scott Brown to one of my best friends, I would just simply say he's the best, get him, and they would just take my word for it. Because I mean, that would be pretty much it all the way around. You know what I mean? If you want a way better chance of having the desired outcome, you hire the best, and that's him. What was the most surprising about my experience working with Scott Brown was the amount of respect that it seemed that he had, no matter which judge we were dealing with or which other attorney or even court clerk or anyone that was involved. You could tell that everyone had a great amount of respect for him, which is duly, earned, so. For anyone that is, in a tough situation or even a unique situation like myself was in, go to Scott Brown and Associates. They are hands down the best team in the entire Houston, Brazoria area, anywhere near here. There's no one that even comes close. If you want the best, go directly to Scott Brown and Associates.